we get to counter his Mystical Dispute. Hello, good game. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time to watch Hello Good Game. I'm your host. Today we're playing Merfolk Tribal in Historic. Traditional, which means best of 3. As always, we're going to take a look at the deck list, get into the strategy and synergy, and then slide into our gameplay footage where we break down the plays we encounter within the current meta, followed by our closing thoughts. So, if you find any value within this video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share this to a friend. Merfolk Tribal. It starts out with 4 copies of Spell Pierce, our first 1-drop. It's an instant, counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. Stern Dismissal, another instant, return target creature or enchantment an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Moving on to our 2-drops now, we have 4 copies of Brineborn Cutthroat, a 2/1 with flash. Whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Brineborn Cutthroat. Silvergill Adept. This is a 2/1. As an additional cost to cast this spell, reveal a Merfolk card from your hand or pay 3. Whenever Silvergill Adept enters the battlefield, draw a card. Merfolk Branchwalker ×4, a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, you explore. Exploring means you reveal the top card of your library, put that card into your hand if it's a land, otherwise put a +1/+1 counter on it, the creature that is, and then put that card back into your graveyard, which is pretty aggressive, right? You have the choice as well to leave the card on top of your library and not have him get the +1/+1, or you can choose to put the non-land permanent in your, or I guess just the non-land card in your graveyard and take the +1/+1. 4 copies of Merfolk Mistbinder, a 2/2. Other Merfolk you control get +1/+1, a stackable creature, very groovy. 4 copies of Growth Spiral, an instant. Draw a card. You may put a land card from your hand into the battlefield, which means playing 2 land in 1 turn. Oh, my mouse is all messed up. Thassa's Intervention, an instant. Choose 1. Look at the top X cards of your library. Put up to 2 of them in your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Counter target spell unless its controller pays twice X. Moving on to our 3-drops, we're using Unwind, an instant, counter target non-creature spell, untap up to 3 lands. Deep Water Roots, an enchantment. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, create a 1/1 blue Merfolk creature token with hexproof, and we have 2 copies of that. A single copy of Kumena, Tyrant of Orazca. It's a 2/4 with tap another untapped Merfolk you control. Kuma, Tyrant of Orazca, can't be blocked this turn. Tap 3 untapped Merfolk you control, draw a card. Tapped 5 untapped Merfolk you control, put a +1/+1 counter on each Merfolk that you do control. 4 copies of Merrow Reejerey. This is a 2/2. Other Merfolk creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, you may tap or untap target permanent, which is insane. These spells are accompanied by 2 Castle Vantresses. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control an island. We can pay 5 to scry 2. 7 islands, 2 Lonely Sandbars, cycling for 1 island. 6 forests, 1 Tranquil Thicket, cycling for 1 forest, comes in tapped. 4 breeding pools, and a single Hinterland Harbor. And I believe that could be bumped up to 4 if you have the copies of it. The gentleman who we borrowed this deck from must not have, and we didn't even bother to look. The sideboard is pretty groovy as well. He did remind us that it could use some work, but I had very good luck with it. We have 2 Mystic Repeals, 2 Aether Gusts, 2 Reduplicate/Replicates, 4 Mystical Disputes, 1 Unwind, 2 Tomeo, Collector of Tales, and 2 Sinopates. Sinopate is an instant counter target spell unless its controller pays X. If that spell countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its graveyard. Tomeo, Collector of Tales is a legendary planeswalker coming into the fold with 5 loyalty, +1 ability of choose a non-land card name, then reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all cards with the chosen name from among them into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. -3, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. And a static ability of spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to discard or sacrifice permanents, which I'm becoming more of a fan of every single day. I cannot stand the Forgotten Priest. Unwind, we have in the deck Mystical Dispute. This spell is a counter spell. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a blue spell, counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Reduplicate is an instant counter target activated ability or triggered ability. Replicate, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. 2 copies of Aether Gust, an instant, choose target spell that's red or green, put it on the, or the owner chooses to put it on the top or bottom of their library. And 2 Mystic Repeals, an instant, put target enchantment on the bottom of its owner's library. So we did play traditional standard today, which means best of 3. So the sideboard does come into play, and it's a little bit different than normal sideboard. It's kind of conducive to your own strategy rather than just trying to shut down all of the different archetypes. The general strategy in the main deck, however, is very cool and very fun. I'm a big fan of tribal decks, and Historic, they actually become viable to play without getting mashed over by the current standard meta decks. So we really rely on Merrow Reejerey here. Other Merfolks you control get +1/+1, so that's a great anthem. And then whenever you cast a Merfolk spell, tap or untap target permanent. So we could tap our opponent's blockers to get the attacks through, or we can untap our land to keep playing more spells. So there's a couple really cool ways that the Reejerey works within the deck, and just having other Merfolks get +2/+2 is good enough as is, right? We also have our Mistbinder, another anthem creature. So these are really good cards to have in your opening hand, right? Because they're gonna make just the rest of the game that much more friendly, especially in game 1 before you know what your opponent's playing, right? Because you might not need any counter spells, right? You might just need the bigger field to beat them. So it's kind of cool to have the Mistbinder and the Reejerey in your opening hand. We all know how Brineborn Cutthroat works. While you play things on your opponent's turn, he gets a counter. There's only so many things to play on your opponent's turn, especially. If they're a creature deck, we don't really have too many counter target creature spells. It's all counter target non-creature spells, right? So Spell Pierce is non-creature, Unwind is non-creature, Thassa's Intervention can do anything, and then Stern Dismissal is just a bounce of an artifact or creature. So there's not too much counters, so don't really rely on the Brineborn +1/+1, but you could get a little bit extra out of it, right? And it's a great cast on turn 2 because we can play our Spell Pierce or play our island, hold up a Spell Pierce. He does nothing, right? And then second turn we play a forest and we hold up our Growth Spiral. He does nothing, and then we can play our Cutthroat, right? So you really just hold up counter spells, and then if you don't have to counter, that's when you use your Cutthroat, or Growth Spiral if you don't have your Cutthroat. Get Deeproot Waters out as fast as possible, just because you're going to be making those tokens. If you can stack it, it's great. And the nice thing about creating all of the tokens is that we have the anthem effects that we just mentioned. So they're going to become 2/2s, 3/3s, 4/4s, 5/5s, because there's 8 anthems within this deck that you can find. Stern Dismissal basically is in here to bounce Winoda, right? And even then, you're going to need to find something else to deal with it, like a counterspell, but it will help you survive rather than just being flashed over immediately. Thassa's Intervention, like I said, it's a great counterspell. If you don't need to counterspell, you can do a draw, which is really cool. And the Merrow Reejerey is the best part of this deck because you can play creatures, untap your land, play more creatures, untap your land. So it basically just halves the cost of all of your 2-drops, which is really, really cool. Again, we have Castle Vantress. Don't forget to use that. The Scry 2 is very helpful if you have untapped land at the end of the turn. Lonely Sandbar and Tranquil Thicket. We can cycle these away if we don't need them. If we do, just get them in the field as soon as possible. And make sure to incorporate more Hinterland Harbors for you guys. We'll do that in the deck list so you don't have to. When we talk about the sideboard action, Mystical Repeal is really good against fires. It's still here when I film this. It has been banned, but it's a great way to get rid of it. Wilderness Reclamation, that's another great one to get off the field, right? Aether Gust is in the same situation. This hates on green and red, so this would deal with Wilderness Reclamation again, or it deals with maybe like a Torbrand, something like this. Reduplicate is great. It can counter the Priest of the Forgotten Gods ability. So she taps, sacks her 2 creatures, and then you can counter the ability, so you don't have to sacrifice your creature. So that's really cool. And again, they're just like, they're really specific for at least what I've found them to be useful for. Mystical Dispute, however, is very broad. It does basically everything that we'd want it to do. If you're playing against a blue, put all the 4 disputes in. Unwind, only if they have more non-creature spells, right? Tameo, again, Rakdos Sacrifice. I can't stand priests. I don't want to discard my cards, and I don't want to sacrifice my permanents. Leave me alone. That's kind of where this comes in play, just for the static ability. And then Sinopate, if there's something like a Winota that we really need to counter. Umori, things that can be escaped. That's nice to get rid of them because then they go into exile. So the sideboard is kind of specific to different things that you'll find within the meta, and you're going to have to kind of figure it out as you go. Just remember to use the view battlefield screen and make sure you know what deck your opponent's playing, and then take out what's bad, put in what's good. I like to drop our Branch Walker. If they don't have non-creatures though, we drop all of our counter non-creatures. And yeah, so that is the deck list. That's the deck tech. I'm live on Twitch every single morning, 6 a.m. PST. If you want to partake in some of the live shenanigans, daily uploads on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share to a friend, and hit the bell icon so you're notified of our future uploads so you can repeat the process again. We also have a Discord of over 1,000 members, beginners to experts. It's a great place to get advice or just to share your experience with a game that we all love. This is Merfolk Tribal. Let me know what you guys think of it. We're going to get into today's gameplay footage, but before we do, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you who continues to support the channel with not only your time and attention, but some of you even feel that you should support it financially. Thank you so much. You can do so on Twitch, on Patreon, and on YouTube if you so choose so. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now let's play some Magic. Rock and roll. Any hand with Merrow Reejerey in it is just perfecto. See? We got this. Now 1-drop, we can play our Breeding Pools tapped. The other dual land is a harbor, which means if we have a swamp or an island in play, it can come in untapped. If not, it comes in tapped. Ascanta, sure. Another Reejerey, that's hot. He does have counterspells available, which makes us scared. What? Not a problem, my friend. If he has a Mystical Dispute, okay. Just an opt. So Reejerey hits the field, right? We can start untapping our land when we play other Merfolks, which is really cool. Untapping our land, playing our Cutthroat. He kicked that. We wouldn't have countered it except for the fact that he kicked it, which means he had to pay 2 more, and he would have drawn a card. If it hits, we're laughing. I don't think it will, though. We're being so greedy here. We can still play our Mistbinder, though, which is almost a higher priority. So we still get to untap it. He could have spent it prior to us actually getting to tap it, so I don't know. But we may as well get some value from it. We're not casting for 1. We probably should have untapped ours and kind of like threatened the Spell Pierce or Mystical Dispute, right? I think that would have been a more ideal bluff or play in general. A better play that was a bluff rather than just some shenanigans. I mean, I don't really mind that going to the top. That's a main phase Aether Gust? We're out of Merfolk, so Deeproot Waters doesn't have so much value. Okay. No, we can't pay for it. He's fully tapped. So I say let's almost go for it. And then we have lethal next turn. Plus our threat is spread through creatures and enchantments now. So it's going to be impossible for him to deal with the creatures and the enchantment, right? Let's move into our sideboard. Our opponent was playing Bant or just Simic. Just Simic. Control. We don't necessarily want the Aether Gust, I don't think. The Mystical Disputes could probably come in. I think for sure. And maybe the Stern Dismissals leave. I didn't see any creatures, right? We have counters, so I don't really want to play a Replicate. Unwind might be okay as well. We already have 2 of them, though. Let's drop a Growth Spiral and a Walker. Well, yeah. The Walker, and we keep the Growth Spiral. I was going to drop 2 Growth Spirals, but we almost kind of want to be casting on his turn. I might drop 2, or we'll keep the Walker and I'll drop the Tyrant. It's kind of weird. It's a little different sideboard than we're used to playing with, right? It's not just strictly meta-hating cards. It's kind of a different strategy for ourselves. I mean, the land's not good. We do have Dispute and Spell Pierce, though. And a Cutthroat, so I think we could probably just ride off that, hopefully. The Growth Spiral doesn't really bother me. It's what comes after. Search for Skanta is very good. That provides much value to the game. Also, we're not so concerned with Opt. His mana is totally tapped on his turn. We can hold up Cutthroat and Dispute. Or we can go in with our Waters. I'm gonna hold up. So we just have to main counter this. We don't get to have our Cutthroat out. Let's just get our Waters in play. And then next our Reejerey. This is going to be a not good turn though. Oh, Nissa. Yikes. How do we deal with that, boys? Do we take a turn off and double stack it? He's so greedy of us. No counter, no counter, no counter. We probably shouldn't be. Okay, we're getting boxed out. We know that he does work into a Nissa. So Aether Gust does become appropriate. Okay, he's out of cards, hits us for 6. The land is not ideal, and we're gonna get hit here for 6 again.
Seek and find.
At the very minimum. Oh, great. Nexus of Fate. We love that. Just kind of moving my monitor over.
Rise, my elemental friend.
There we go. No blocks. I'm pretty sure he's got the win here. How do you not, right? Well, let's let him play it out. Let you guys see the Simic Nexus deck. And gets an Uro. Looking for a Wilderness Wreck. And there's just nothing we can do here. Good game. Ouch. So. We want Sinopate for Uro. This is gonna be messy. Let's see how we make out in game 3. Better land at least. Threatening our Spell Pierce. Mystical Dispute. Right? Always get your island in play. Islands and mountains I like to play right away because they're very threatening. To me at least. If no counters are needed, we can use our Cutthroat. And he counters it. So he's just spent his mana on his turn, which allows a clean hit of our Reejerey. Let's pretend that that's going to win us the match. Ugh. So he's done nothing that turn but miss a land drop. Let's just replay it. He gets a land here. And he opts, which is fine. Oh my lord. Let's show him our third Reejerey. Yikes. And we actually should have showed him the Mistbinder. Because we have two of them, we get to untap 2 lands. Which is great. Draw a card, of course. And it's like, do we want to hold up Spell Pierce? Or do we just go crazy? We get to go crazy, because we get to untap our lands anyways. Oh my lord. Am I right? Pretty oppressive. He did miss land drops, which made this all a lot easier, but... Let's see how he makes out. He does have the Blast Zone. If it's non-creature, we have it covered. Arrow's gonna gain him some life, but it does die. And we hit for just an outrageous amount. And then we get to counter his Mystical Dispute. Hello, good game. Yikes. That's Merfolk Tribal, you guys, representing in diamond rank. Woof. Umori the Collector, playing with a banned card, you guys. Can you believe it? No, this is just filmed before the... I guess Umori's not even banned, but he would have to pay 3 to bring it in play. I guess we like the hand. We have our Reejerey. So Agent of Treachery is banned, and Fires of Invention is banned, and Companions, you now have to pay 3 to bring it from your sideboard to your hand. Just to clarify, I think bans hit tomorrow for me. Let's just enter tapped, I guess, right? Is it going to be a mutate situation? Like, what's going on here? Oh my gosh, this Tranquil Thicket is not a forest. I didn't even take note of that. Cry. We should have just played our island. So maybe we can just get by through tapping stuff. It's spell, not ability, so we can still tap Bone Crusher Giant without taking the damage. Oh, great. Goody. So, at least it wasn't the Marauders, Angrass Marauder. That card is so busted, it's not even funny. So we want to hold up 1 land. And we do get to untap our land, which is nice. No attacks. We put our stop on before his attack phase so we can bounce Winota, and then he doesn't get to do the old search function. Getting that out of play. And I do not mind the trade here. That's fine. That's one last creature he can search with his Winota, right? I mean, unless he just plays another. I'm thinking probably Umori. Oh, the Vanguard. Very nice. 2 Vanguards. That's not good. Let's hit it. 6 damage in. I mean, he is racing us pretty efficiently because these go to 3 as well. 1, 2. So he's got to pay 6 to counter this, potentially. Really? Maybe we'll just take a draw. Well, the Stern Dismissal helps. I guess the Waters does too, somehow. I wish they had Flash, is the thing. So, we're gonna have 4 damage. We could tap 1, put the other back. We're 2 damage short. He has 3 attackers. Let's just go for it. I think we have to be bold if we're gonna win this. I guess we shouldn't have. Right, because now he wins. We should have kept that in our hand and just played off the dismissal. Interesting. So he's tapped a creature. Just for the Bone Crusher Giant. Pretty cool. We definitely should not have paid life for that land. So it's a Winota deck. It's a hard sideboard here for us. We just really want to counter with Notice, so we've taken our Sinopate. Yikes. Stern Dismissal will keep us alive for a little bit, I guess. We get to go first at least. I think we toss our intervention. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast is absolutely crippling to us. Trying to wait on all our priorities, just so he's unaware of what we could be doing. That Guardian is OP. Ouch. Here comes Winota for the hit. Last game, he didn't even really want to play it, though. He just wanted to attack. Right? Biding his turns, I guess. That's fine. That actually kind of helps us as well, maybe. A Llanowar Elf, sure. We get to draw. It's another Cutthroat. Just not bad. It's not good though, because Thalia increases the cost of our Dismissal and our Sinopate. So we do get to counter this. And it goes into exile, which is great. Maybe this is enough to win. Maybe. It's gonna be hard to say. Easy block. We're at least making him work for it. It's not a land. We're holding the phone here. It's a Love-Struck Beast. Let's eat it. Right, we do kill the 5/5, which is actually pretty disgusting. He sneaks the shaman in, though. That's what he was trying to do. That's really bad for us. We couldn't have countered the shaman, but... Oof. We reveal, but we do get to draw, which is really nice. And we're getting close to that point where we can start attacking as well. Let's leave it for one more turn. We do have Castle Vantress. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 5. No, 4 to activate it. No, 5, sorry. So he's tapped. Oh! So we can just try to ride out the value from our Castle Vantress, I think. So he gets rid of a Marauder. There's his Winota. We need to put our stop down. Bounce her back to the hand. We can only do that for 2 turns. We need to draw a counterspell. LOL. It's prolonging the inevitable. Okay, there's a counterspell. We could just keep picking up those counterspells. Maybe he'll quit in frustration. We can just even cast this for 1. That's 2 of them. I think the first one went to exile. Let's get the land out of the way. Ooh, library. That's a keeper. He discards another Marauder, so 2 Winota's gone, 2 Marauders. We have to put down... Oh, he got 2 of them. Wow. Let's bounce that again. Or is that just 1 and it showed it twice? I'm confused. Those are all of our stern dismissals, and we're not getting anything next turn to deal with it because we took the Reejerey for some reason. Do we attack? No. We really just have to play out. He's like, can I actually play it now, finally? There she goes. Nice. What would be good here is a Marauding Raptor. He would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. I don't think it would help enough, but... I can't even handle this. Looks through the remainder of his library. And immediately gets a Marauder. Dirty, dirty dog. We got 20 life. That's his third Winota. Oh, 2 Marauders. God dang it. So we can't have that go through. This is a good game. Oh, Lord. They all have indestructible too. Cry. Cry, 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 cry. So we're gonna hit for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Oh, man. Cry, cry, cry. Those are all of our blockers. We're still getting hit for 4, 5, 6, 10, 14 damage. And it feels pretty bad. Oh no, he's got 2 of them. Never mind. Math. It doubles them twice. So that's absolutely insane. Alright, let's redeem ourselves from that Winota experience. Playing against a German player, interesting. It's not a good hand, but I kind of want to keep it. Keep 6. Toss out, unwind, because we don't know what he's playing, and we play our castle first. All right, let's try to ride it. I'm gonna try to stack it and be very greedy. Pretend he doesn't have Brazen. Oh, Teferi. Cry. Games are a little bit tough today. A Mox Ember. Is this a Kethis combo? This just got dirty. Let's take the draw here. We do get the 1/1, which is great, and we get to draw more land, get it out of the way. We can play our Deeproot and our second Deeproot, and then our first Mistbinder. Yeah, this is definitely Kethis. So we need to keep the Mox Embers out of the graveyard. We need to keep Kethis away as well. Trying to maybe look for a counterspell, but even then, having it in the graveyard doesn't always help us. He can't tap his Emery with Summoning Sickness, so that's fine. I guess let's try for it. And then be incredibly greedy and just keep drawing. Revealing the same card. 1/1s. And now the draw, please. Okay. We want the Reejerey is what we want in this situation, right? To kind of control the match. But he is doing his best, cycling a Triome. Teferi goes up. He has instant sorcery speeds now on my turn. And he's playing an Emery just to mill the first. And then he does go get a Mox Ember. That's great. Then he can tap it because he destroyed the second. Or just play it with Underworld Breach. So that's real good. Mox Ember in play. Puts the first one back. And now he can untap it. Luckily, Underworld Breach isn't a legendary. And then he's got his Diligent Excavator to dig. Dirty, dirty dog. Another Mox Amber. He destroys the first one. This one comes out untapped. It doesn't have Summoning Sickness because it is an artifact. And then he gets to mill more. Right, so he's playing everything from his graveyard with the Underworld Breach. Using the Mox Embers on top of each other for unlimited mana. Albeit he doesn't have very much of it right now. But he does just get to continue the mill, right? And that's the really important part. So we might get one more turn out of this. Yeah. Each escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost plus 3 other cards. So he does need to keep exiling from his grave, but it's not a problem. I'm pretty sure we're already in an infinite loop. Right, because he can now exile 3 from his graveyard to play the other Mox Ember on top. Or wait a minute, did he exile his other Mox Ember? Whoa. That's not correct. He exiled the wrong card. So we might get a chance to play here. He needed to keep the Mox Embers to cycle them. And he just put one of them in exile. He still has, like, unlimited loops with the Stonecoil Serpent. So maybe that's all he's doing. Which is incredible. And then he'll get another another Mox Ember through just continuously milling the Stonecoil Serpent. Very nice. So this is Kethis combo without Kethis. Just running off Underworld Breach and Stonecoil Serpent via Diligent Excavator. Incredible. He's almost out of cards in his graveyard. So he has to exile 3, and then this only mills 2, right? So he did eventually run out. Ugh. Can we afford to cycle this? No. Oh well, let's just go for it. I mean, he's still just gonna infinite loop us, which is pretty sad, but even playing this main phase is sad. That's just the mood we're in. I don't know why it will allow us... Oh, because we can just play it. I might want to cycle it next turn, though. And... Well, we definitely need to kill his Teferi. Screw it. Let's just kill Teferi. I don't even want to figure it out. So he does take the double block to get a kill. And I'm going to take out the Excavator. Right? Oh, actually we don't. It's got 3 defense. If we could have, we would have taken out the Excavator. How about that? Pass our turn, keeping the land, the Lonely Sandbar in hand in case we need to cycle. Mind Stone can draw for him. So that's good. And Emery can play something from the grave, right? Artifact card. Okay, now he gets a Mox Ember, and now he's back into cycle mode. Gosh dang it. And he's got 11 cards in the graveyard as well, so. I think that might have been a misplay there as well. I would have taken Underworld Breach. Oh, it's only Artifact. So he can't take Underworld Breach because it's an enchantment. So let's cycle this land. All attacks. I mean, that's a pretty good attack, right? We have 12 damage just in hexproof tokens. He only has 2 blockers. So he takes 12, 15, 16, 17. And we get one more turn to try and win this. I do think he messed up his combo, though. Unwind, we have no land for. It's not really important that we click up the Brineborn anymore. He just has to loop us or we win. We know what deck he's playing, and we know we need to exile that Mox Ember. Why is he milling us? Oh, he's down to 9 cards. I see. Woof. Not a single Kethis. Here's Underworld Breach. Oh. He's gonna get us, isn't he? He gets to play his Mox Ember. But he's milling himself pretty aggressively here. I don't think he can do it. Or he's got another Thassa to play. But his first Thassa's on the field. I don't see a second. He'll need to Teferi bounce his Oracle. That's the only way I see it working. Okay, perfect. So we know we need to get rid of a couple things. Enchantments, bottom of library. Yup. Mox Ember. Sinopate's good because we're putting things into exile. Maybe? Let's drop some branchers. Let's drop a spiral. The spell pierces need to stay. I think just the walkers. No Kethis, unless it's been sideboarded in. We have a Sinopate, but only 1 land. We can't do it. 2 Reejereys too, but 38% chance to draw lands, so we'll draw 1 and 3 confirmed. We can't do it. Okay, we're gonna throw our Thicket away. We have a Dismissal, no counter though. I was debating trying to cycle that on our first turn, maybe. I guess we will anyways, just with the sandbar instead. Okay. No counters still, which is a bummer. Mox Ember also costs 0. Emery's good. Mill's top 4. One of them's an Ember. I really want to capitalize off this Reejerey. I get we could counter a non-creature here, but he's just going to replay it the turn after, right? So it's a messy situation. This is fine. It's got Summoning Sickness. He just milled his Oracle, which is actually beneficial for him because then he can play it with his Underworld Breach. We can play our Mistbinder, untapping a land, right? That opens up our Unwind. We're keeping Unwind up to get rid of Underworld Breach. It costs 5 though, doesn't it? Or is it 4? Alright, let's see. We've got him down to 10. That's a good position. And we actually have 10 on the field next turn because of our Stern Dismissal. Really? So he's he tapped his Emery to draw. Really? We're gonna pay life here for that right away. And then just attack. We have both Unwind and Spell Pierce. Good game. Tricked you. Uh-oh. Oof. What do you think of Merfolk Tribal? Absolutely incredible. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Timmy Bob Guy, who we found in Ranked last season, right before the season end. We were just about to hit Mythic and he slayed us with this Merfolk deck, so I just had to get it. And through MTGA Assistant, you can go into your stats and tools, recent opponents, copy nickname to clipboard, add them to your friends list, and then talk to your opponents. Tell them what a great match it was, right? Start to engage with the community. If they've got a deck that you really liked, maybe they'll share your deck list with you as well, right? So it's a cool way to just spread information. I absolutely love the friends feature and the chat feature. Thank you so much, Wizards. That's great. So a big shout out to Timmy Bob Guy for the deadly Merfolk Tribal deck. If you have any really cool decks, join our Discord and share them there. I'd love to showcase your awesome decks as well. It's a big part of my job is to come up with these decks. So if you guys are doing that for me as a community, thank you. I really liked the deck. I think it's great. I'm looking forward to playing more tribal decks, and I think we're gonna flirt with Vampire Tribal next. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'm live on Twitch every single morning, 6 a.m. PST. We have daily uploads on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, share to a friend, and hit the bell icon so you're notified of all of our future uploads. And then we have the Discord, which you need to join in case you have any help, you need advice, or you need help or advice, or you just want to share your experience with all of us who love the game probably just as much as you do, if not more. Big shout out to all of our supporters, both with your time and attention, and those of you who feel the need to do it financially, which is being done on Patreon, YouTube, and Twitch. Choose your poison. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And of course, everything goes back into the stream. Oh, woo! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take care. Have a great day. We're back same time, same place tomorrow. We'll see you then.